So many leaders at this time in the world are speaking about how the peaceful way hasn't been working, how we have marched, we've been peaceful, we've been quiet, we've been obedient, and still things are not changing. And so now it's time for violence. Now it's time to burn down things. It's time to loot. It's time to show the system that's hurting us that we can hurt them back. And I understand this. I understand the ideology. I understand this thinking, this mindset, and I understand the anger and the rage that everyone is feeling on a deep, deep level. Regardless of whether you're black, white, or Indian, or Chinese, we're all feeling something right now, and it doesn't feel good. That's because fundamentally, there is a war happening on humanity. It's not a war on just black people. It's not a war that is a biological warfare or a pandemic or whatever it is that the news makes it out to seem, but it's a war on humanity. Why would someone want to wage a war on humanity? Well, the simple reason. Whenever there is a war waged on humanity, the next thing that changes is our liberties and civil rights are taken away. You look at the terrorist attacks that happened in 9/11. Were there not more restrictions after that? Were there more civil liberties that were taken away? Of course. So look at this year. I can't even fly out of the country to see my own mother. I can't leave my house freely. This is the world that we live in. And all the things that you're watching in the news and the media, whatever the story they're pushing, all the buttons, it's all to entice one thing: more separation, more division, more fear, more hatred. You know, if you drink the fear Kool-Aid, you'll drown in it. If you buy into all the fear porn, you'll be too scared to do anything. It's time to wake up, people. There's a bigger game happening. A much, much bigger game. This is a war on consciousness, the consciousness of humanity. Because if you understand that humanity has actually been on an evolution right now, but the greatest evolution that we can ever make as a species is the recognition that we're not separate from each other, that we are actually all one being having multiple different experiences. I can tell you, anyone who's ever done what's called past life hypnotherapy or past life regression or anything to do with Akashic record reading, some terms some of you have never ever heard, and that's cool. But when you look that deeply into your soul, you see that you have been many different people. You haven't just been in this one body having this one experience. You're not just a Muslim or just a Christian or a Jew. You've had many different experiences. And why? So you can learn to love. So you can learn unity. So you can remember who you are. But right now, when I look around, we're too busy fighting each other. We're too busy distrusting each other. Too busy putting up posts like, oh, white people are trying to kill us. No, 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 no. It's not just about white people and black people anymore. This is huge. And the reason I say this is because growing up in Africa, I had many black people that I witnessed trying to kill other black people or killing black people. In fact, when I was back home, you know, when I was in South Africa, there was a xenophobic attacks on Zimbabweans, on other Africans by black South Africans. What do you call that? It's not white supremacy. That is the fundamental lack of love. It is the fundamental forgetting of who you are. That's what's actually happening here. And when you put aside your fixation on hating another person, on proving something, and recognize that actually the power is inside you. It's in every single one of us. And how? When each and every single one of us aligns with love, unconditional love for all beings, when each and every single one of us recognizes that we are co-creating this experience together in every single moment by what we think, what we believe, and what we choose to subscribe to. Whatever we give our power away to continues. When you give your power away to the fear, more fearful things happen. When you give your power away to your hatred, more hatred happens. And it goes on and on and on. Right now, we're so fixated on the anger that we have towards the police and the white people that look at America right now. Look at it. What are we actually doing? Burning and looting, showing people that we're more powerful and that we can destroy everything. What is that actually going to do? When the biggest fundamental issue is that we don't love each other. We don't trust each other. We don't even know ourselves. We don't even love ourselves. We don't even respect ourselves. Because when you love and respect yourself, you won't need to go rob someone. You don't need to go burn something down to prove a point. And this system, this so-called system, the deep state, whatever the hell you want to call it, these people that are pulling the puppet strings around the world, that are controlling everything, what's that about? Well, they're not more powerful than all of us, united. That much I can tell you. And they know this, which is why their number one tactic is conquer, divide, and separate at all costs. So, I sit here knowing that I may get some hate mail. I may get people going, oh, you're not pro-black, you're this, you're that. And it's like, no, I'm past that shit now because I know it doesn't actually work because that's the wrong fight. The real fight is us fighting for our sovereignty, our freedom, unity. That is the real fight. And I'm not fighting for anything less. And I will not just believe that I'm only just a black person. I'm connected to everything and everyone. I do not subscribe anymore to the belief that I'm separate from other people. And yeah, sometimes it's hard to believe that. And sometimes, yeah, I want to believe that I'm separate. Sometimes I want to hate on people. But the higher part of me is always like, oldest trick in the book. So, everything that we're experiencing right now in the world is also our creation. We create it when we distrust others. We create it when we hate others. We create it when we think we're better than other people because of our skin color, our genetics, whatever it is. We are creating all of this. And when we take responsibility and we look in the mirror, you really look in the mirror and you really go, okay, do I really love myself? Do I really believe that I'm equal to everyone else? If you can't actually answer that purely and honestly, then you're also creating the problem. So change yourself first. You don't need to go burn anything down. You can protest if you want to stand in solidarity with your brothers and sisters, but do it peacefully. Rise up against the system by actually going a step above, which is love. That is the one thing they don't expect us to do. We've had so many things divide us. We've had feminism, men against women, black people against, white people, everything. It's like, it's all serving one agenda. And it's to weaken us. And when they weaken us enough, we are much more easier to control. Just watch, what's coming next. After all these protests, after we've burnt everything down and there's anarchy, then what? Martial law? Chips in our brains? Forced vaccinations? I don't know. Anything is possible. But one thing I do know is we actually have the power to create a different reality because we're co-creating reality. Everything is energy before it's solid. Whatever energy we have as a collective is what's going to happen next. And whatever happens next, I'm not going to sit around and blame another person because I'm going to know that I was part of it somehow. And the only power I have is to change it within myself. And that's all I'm going to say, people. Change it within yourself. Look at your belief systems. Look at what you think about other people. Start there. And when you can do that, it'll ripple into your family, then it'll ripple into the community, and it'll ripple into the world. And before you know it, we will actually come back to the truth of who we are as human beings. Human beings, in truth, are loving, we are kind, we are tender, we are compassionate, we are open. And I know this because I see it every day around me. Right now I live in Australia, which is, very, very white. It does have multicultural aspects to it. It is actually a black nation, for those of you who don't know the history. But when I come across people every day, because my attitude is that I am worthy and that I love everyone, regardless of whatever package they present themselves in. I know that they're a part of me. It doesn't matter if I think that they're lesser than me or that they've done something that I don't approve of. There's a part of me that's connected to that too. I won't get into that. But I want you to know that everyone is you. And when we can start to believe that as a collective, the world will change, I promise you that. We will make it so. We will fight for each other. We will stand up for each other. It won't be, oh, it's a Muslim problem, it's a Palestine problem, it's a this problem. It'll be, no, it's our problem, because it is our problem. Open your heart. Let love in. And let the truth in, and it will set us free. Thank you.